Hello everybody, Jess Rothenberger here, your trusted smart home advisor and Control4 dealer with Smart Homes by SI Electric in Kamloops, BC. If you recognize this app, it's because you have a Control4 system. But have you ever played with the settings? If not, I encourage you to, because there's some cool things that you can do and you can't hurt anything. So let's dig in. Select the gear icon for settings. And the first thing you see is if you have multiple systems, you can toggle back and forth between the two. In my case, I've got a system in my office and at home. And let's say I wanted to connect to my home. I select my home and then connect. And then wait for the interwebs to do its thing. And bingo, now I'm at home. If I want to go back to my office, I select the settings. I select my office and I connect there. So I'm at my office right now. And we're going to go back to the settings. And notice on the bottom right hand corner there's an about icon. You select that and it just tells you what operating system you're on, and you can see right now I'm at 2.10.5.7, which is the latest and greatest. As a side note, if you ever want your system updated, call me at 250-852-0664 or email me at jess@selectric.ca and we'll get you going on the latest and greatest. Back to our settings. Bottom middle, you'll see an icon called Preferences. You're going to select that. Let's walk through these real quick. The room/zone off confirmation is on by default. I like to turn it off. Why? What's the difference? Let's turn it back on and I'll show you. So if I go to listen to some music in the workshop, let's select tune in 98.3. Great. Bottom right hand corners are zones. So you can see Shane's listening to tune in his office and the workshop are rocking CIFM. Now when I turn this off, the Control4 app commands me to decide if we really want to turn the workshop off. Yes, I do. When I turn my music off, I know that the music's going off. I don't need Control4 to ask me permission, so I deselect that. It saves me a millisecond. But if you've got kids at home or someone with sticky fingers, it may not be a bad idea to enable that just to avoid the possibility of your music getting turned off inadvertently. The device name is just literally that. What do you want to call this device? Jess's phone 2. Let's say I had 2 iPhones hypothetically. I could rename it. Now, why would I do that? If you go to your customer.control4.com account, it gives you a list of all the smart devices out there that are being used to control your system. Now, by saving this as Jess's phone 2, when I log in, I can see exactly that this phone is connected and controlling my system. The home screen layout, I think it defaults to circle, which is the one you're probably more familiar with, the circle of power, so to speak. Myself, I like the grid. It's just a little more aesthetically pleasing, but again, there's really no difference. It just boils down to preference. What else we got? The security passcode. Okay, this one is off by default, but this is one you may be really interested in. So let's say you have someone at home who has the passcode to your smart device so that they can use it, but you don't want them to be able to control your Control4 system. Or you just want an extra level of security. You want to enable this. Turn passcode on. It's going to ask you for a passcode. Re-enter it to confirm. If you're lucky enough to have an iPhone, you can actually use your Touch ID, which is your fingerprint, which is really handy. And you can tell your app, do you want it to wait a minute, 5 minutes, etc., or just require the passcode immediately, which would be my suggestion. And there you go. So now if I get out of my app and I go back in, I'm going to need my fingerprint in order to get back in. In my case, I'm not too concerned. Everybody in my house knows my passcode for my phone and they can use my system. So just as a matter of convenience, I'm going to disable the passcode. That said, if I'm traveling and there's a chance I might leave my phone somewhere, I might just turn that passcode back on. Cellular data warning. If you have a Foresight subscription, let's say you've got a bunch of security cameras at home and you use your Control4 app to stream live feed video, that can be data intensive. So if you leave this toggled on, your Control4 app will just warn you that you may be using more data than you want to be. Dedicated mode, interesting. Its default is off, and if you have your Control4 system or your Control4 app on your regular phone that you use day to day, I would suggest leaving that off, because what does it do? If you toggle that on, your Control4 app will always stay on. Now, If you have like an old iPad or an old smart device that's always plugged in at home, you can install the Control4 app and leave dedicated mode on. And then now all of a sudden you've got another Control4 device that's always on and ready. So you don't have to turn your phone on, select the password, find the app, blah, 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 blah. It's just always locked and loaded. It's super handy. That said, it can eat your batteries. So if your Control4 app is on your regular phone, I would disable that. And that's it. Try them out. Remember, your smart home begins with SA Electric.